Hello. Oh, happy birthday, Mr. Coons. I saw Wally's as well. Happy birthday. Hello, Dolly. Hello, Fred. Hello, Miss Jeannie. See the Chef Patriot, Mr. Legary up in Candleland, Jay and Amy. Yep, you got to like that one, Michael Norfolk. A lot of pressure going on. See, there you go, Wally, 52. Bill, just tell them you're younger. Run with it, man. No, I'm just messing with you. Happy birthday to everybody celebrating. Hello, Jojo. Hello, Miss Amber. Hello, Judy in Mississippi. Let's see. It's my grandson, Van Patrick. Patrick, after his papa's first birthday, he was born at home in his parents' bedroom with an awesome midwife. Wow. Today's world is pretty cool. I had the honor of being there to witness his birth. Happy birthday to Patrick. Or do we call him Van? We're just Van Patrick. Whoa. In Samara, militia took down its own flag. Al-Sadar took his down. Yeah, Sadir, he's the one that broke this loose by saying, it's right. It is time to fold back into the state, the country, the government. Believe in your country. Hello, J.E. Hello, Jules. Hello, Laney. You know that question's coming. Did I come to Carolina to exchange? No, I'm desperately missing my children and my mother after seeing family. I've figured I need to find out how to make something happen. Youngest daughter's birthday tomorrow. Granddaughter was 2 on the 3rd. Lots of birthdays. Like to say happy birthday to son Avery. Miss him terribly. Stationed in Fort Bragg. We've got some folks with different orders being readjusted, moved around Middle East, and more of a presence in Jordan. We're seeing some movements. Gordon 61st. I see Apollo PA checking in. Yeah, Sunshine, I can multitask it. It's like crazy, the possible timing on that one. I just saw another one. Let's see. P. Oh, Dad. You've been shortened to P Dad. P Dad Diddy. Happy 78th, man. Happy 78th. Randy's going to be celebrating his wife's heavenlieth on Sunday. Randy sending support. Sluggo, I heard they repaired the Stargate. I've heard so many rumors that Stargate ship. That's the reason we built the seemingly weird and strange compound in Iraq. Black squirrel in my room. Your room change made me check to see if I had the correct date. Connie, what is that? Some point somebody's got to bite it on the bonds. You guys do the math. Whether or not you want to be the ones holding the hand. Now, may not happen for 5 years, 10 years. May happen tomorrow. May happen today. Bond market's on the ropes, it appears. At least we know that many bond markets around the world are, and fiats are way overspent. They can't meet their obligations. The debt load's too high. The bonds are the governments that can't support it, that have overprinted. Do the math. If you're like me, you're getting to that age where you're tired all the time, bloated after every meal, and no amount of water seems to help. Listen up. Recently dealing with that, decided to call Dr. Josh. Friend, told him what was going on. His response kind of shocked me. Said I was showing all those telltale signs of a dehydrated liver. Not dehydrated like I need to drink more water. Told me I was actually part of the problem. You see, most people think hydration is just about drinking enough water. Here's what Dr. Josh explained to me. Your liver is your body's main hydration organ. If your liver cells aren't getting water at the cellular level, it doesn't matter how many glasses you drink every day. The water just runs right through you. And when your liver is dehydrated, everything suffers. Your energy tanks, your digestion slows down, you bloat, you hold on to stubborn weight, your skin looks dull, you feel decades older than you actually are. Plain water can't fix it on its own. And most electrolyte drinks are just sugar and salt that completely ignore your liver. So Dr. Josh, practicing doctor over 25 years of medical practice expertise, created a daily hydration drink called LTV, Larry Ted Victor. Okay, fine. Larry Tango Victor. What do you guys want to call it? It's not just another electrolyte powder. LTV combines a clinical dose of marine electrolytes with taurine to help your cells actually hold on to water, plus milk thistle and dandelion root to support your liver's natural detox function. Told me LTV has already helped thousands of people and received incredible reviews from customers who noticed results fast. So I decided to give it a try. Been drinking it along with doing the liver cleanse. Just great. Happy report saying goodbye to the constant bloating, the getting really tired in the afternoon, dried out, foggy feeling. Saying hello to energy, smoother digestion, body feeling like it's hydrated for the first time in years. Powerful stuff. Amazed at the difference. You're not going to get these results from any regular electrolyte drink or by just drinking more water, because Dr. Josh put his 25 years of experience into it. If you want to try that, if you want to finally feel the difference in your energy, your digestion, your waistline, just go to drinkltv.com/MarkZ to get your hands on some today. And it is your lucky day. He's got the LTV on sale for up to 64% off for a limited time through that link. And the link's in the description of the video, so you guys can find it. Ooh, David. All right. Doing a little back office work while I'm here. Just noticed somebody's chat. Yeah, bottled waters. They are not all made alike is probably the best way to put that one. There's some major differences between them, and most of them just really not very good for you. We got to get Wade on. Matter of fact, we do have Wade coming on Monday the 8th. We get Wade. Daily Word. I am in North Carolina. Carolina del Norte. Carolina of the North. Kirby, have good friends moving to New Bern. They will like New Bern. I get to dress warm finally. Oh, boy. That always sucks. Muscle disease. Like, no bicep left. There, I had to go show off. Silver, don't panic, guys. Don't panic. Bruce saying here's the 8th. We do know we've got more meetings. I do know from where are we at time-wise? We're close enough. It is Friday. I've made it a point not to bring too much news, so we get that time with Mr. Cottrell. Looking forward to some time with Lucas. Oh, speaking of which, better send him the link. Got to settle into the desk chair. It's a little different. Come on. There we go. Now I think I'll be set. Now the link has been set for later. Housekeeping. Now we need to get to the news. Gathering in Mooresville would be nice if I could. I don't know if I got that much time. So we got to get to the news. The 8th anniversary of the attack on the USS Liberty. Anybody keeping up with that? Excuse me, anybody familiar with the USS Liberty? I'm reading a few of these before we dive in. Has the HCL document been signed and passed? No. Pieces and parts of it, Texas artists have been signed. HCL is bigger than just one bill. They've done a tremendous amount of work. We talked about that, I believe it was yesterday, and shared an article on it. Let's get to it. Pitter patter, that's not the one you want to see. On the bond side, guys, no fresh updates since yesterday. It's a mad dash to get things done. Everybody's sitting on the edge of their seat. I know we've seemingly been here in the past, but the anticipation is thick. You almost need a knife to cut it with to even be able to walk through a room right now when you're talking to folks, because the information is coming hard and fast with their expectations. Let's hope they meet them. Al Adani, Al Fawa, Al Port is a pillar for economic transformation and making Basra the economic capital of Iraq. The Grand Port represents pillar for economic transformation. It is part of those white reforms. They told us they would get the port up and running. They would make these changes to their banking system. They would modernize it. They would go KYC, laundering. They would join the international banking system, and then they would restore their currency. They're doing all these things. We're watching the completion. These are just exciting ones because we can track the white reforms with the stated goal of lifting the purchasing power. The Iraqi economy under the democratic political system between legitimacy and legitimacy, okay, maybe between illegitimacy and legitimacy, does lose a lot in translation. Really awesome piece for you guys, you deeper thinkers, or the folks that really, I shouldn't say that. It's probably not a fair, but those that are interested, I should say. All the things they've been juggling, what a social contract looks like with its people in Iraq. It's not enough to be an authoritarian state and provide safety. You have to provide economic opportunity. You have to present a dream, a direction. And he is talking about how all that is finally coming together in Iraq, how they need to privatize, they need to empower private businesses, they need to decrease dependency upon the state. Huge. They're having philosophical discussions that I don't believe we've had in the U.S. since the founding fathers were here. When they first talked about social contracts, they first started talking about these truths that they hold self-evident. The right to your own property. They are discussing some really big things in Iraq for the people. And it's inspiring to know that people are out there pushing, fighting, trying to bring freedom and prosperity to their people. I am so excited about this one. A great piece for those that want to read it. It'll be over at Voices of Freedom in the links. Prime Minister, we're working, another great one that really goes into this one. And why is the U.S. not doing something similar? Prime Minister, we are working to ensure that every Iraqi family that does not own a property owns a residential plot of land. Their point being, if you are a family, you're married, you're having children, you're a family, you're a unit, Trump should really think about this because he's trying to push for more babies, more families, more marriages to help them. They have been a lot of conversations lately about public lands, whether they need to continue to be held by the government. Of course, park systems, all those are important, but there's a massive amount of land that gets confiscated, taken, taxes, etc., where the government owns an obscene amount. In the U.S., it is an obscene amount. May not be where you want to live, but I really like that idea. How many of you guys, if you're broke, you're out there, you're trying to make it, the government's trying to help you, for those that don't own, maybe they'll give some similar tax benefits to those that do own property, but for those that don't, perhaps they could just give them an acre. What do you guys think of that idea? For those of you that have been suffering, fighting, if the government gave you an acre, could you not put an RV on it? Could you not find a way to live? Even if you got to just build a hut in a cardboard box and slap some waterproof paint on it. I love this idea. Let's see. What do you make of all the coal-fired power plants demolished instead of conversion natural gas? One, they should have been converted. Two, I don't think we should have done away with coal completely for a couple of valid reasons. No, there's, contrary to common belief, and I've been in the industry, I do not believe there is a clean version of coal. There are cleaner versions, but coal is a necessary one for carbon and steel and progress in technology. So continuing to have the safety net of some coal-fired power plants, I think is a great thing. I would argue that it helps bring stability to a system, May not be the perfect answer, but it is a solid working answer. Now he wants to put the miners and mines back into production, supply plants, or export. Most of it, Chuck Doe, would go towards export. There is something that the U.S. has that much of the world doesn't have when it comes to coal. We have very high carbon coal that is great for coking and great for carbonization when you're trying to turn iron into steel. Obama beat the crap out of coal farmers in the U.S. He no longer allowed them, made a lot of changes, not allowing to borrow against in-ground reserves, devastated, and took the cost of steel, etc., and shot it through the roof. Part of the reason that the U.S. doesn't compete as well in the steel industry is because he beat the crap out of the coal industry. Got a lot of family and friends that would be happy to go back to work. Really happy to get back to work. And reading a few of those, I got totally distracted on that one. Yeah, right. Whatever happened to the 40 acres and a mule? I don't know if we can still do 40 acres, but I'd take an acre or two. Steve, Chicago's in the house. All right, let's get back to it. Very excited about that one for them. Let's take off the news banner. I do want to keep it short so we can get to Mr. C. Demented New York Dems erase mother from state. All right, part of what I wanted to dive in today was just the state of the world we live in and some of the craziness and the extremism and how nobody has voted for this. And almost every example, almost no one has voted for this, or at least not willingly or knowingly voted for this. Demented New York Dems erase mother from state law, replacing her with gestating parent. Matter of fact, they're taking father away too. That is now the non-gestating parent. Yes, really. They're pushing for the erasure of biological motherhood and fatherhood in the name of activist ideology. The bill passed the assembly months ago and cleared the Senate this week with minimal debate and now sits on Governor Kathy Hochul's desk. If she signs it, the changes take effect November 1 and will rewrite references across family court proceedings, domestic relations, child support, custody determinations, and even education statutes. Paternity becomes parentage. Putative father becomes alleged parent. Where's the pushback? I mean, why do you need to pass a law? Why do we need to fight this? You guys get upset about everything. No, okay, back it up. Why do they need to pass a law to remove mother and father? Not going to be important. Got to be rights. Could they just start raising them with test tubes and not even using a parent? Boy, that would really make the state happy, because then they wouldn't need or worry about parental rights, because there won't be any such thing. The parent would be the state. Think back through all the dystopian movies or books you've watched, books you've read, etc. Now start filtering some of these ideas that you're saying into those and just kind of imagine where they fit. 4 Republican senators voted no to the SAVE Act. I'm going to say it again. Republican Party is broken. It is good and truly broken. Anybody looking for Republicans to save you, unfortunately, I believe you to be idiots. Maybe well-intentioned, great people, but I do not look for the Republican Party to be the savior of sanity in America anymore. It's going to be us. We've always been the answer. All right, back to it. More of the craziness. Oh, I didn't know I was going to cover this one. I'm glad I did. Okay, the media wants you to know why men are walking away from liberal society. Recent surveys paint what might seem like an apocalyptic picture. The U.S., around 45% of men ages 18 to 25 do not approach women anymore to engage in dating or relationships. Over 40% of all men have no interest in seeking out women for relationships or casual dates. Around 30% of men over 40 old have never been married and not necessarily seeking marriage. The male loneliness epidemic. They want to tell us it's because we don't agree with today's women. I definitely argue that today's women have tried to castrate men. I do not believe in toxic masculinity, if that's even a thing, which I would argue against being actual and real. I don't know, maybe. I mean, we're not looking for cavemen. We're looking for men that respect their wives, respect their children, their daughters, all women. But at the same time, got to stop just rolling over. You got to start leading. And I think that's where these men are at. They're just like, if the world wants to play this game, we're just not going to play. We're going to be men. We're going to walk away from the fight because that's the right thing to do. I'm watching this one. I think about it with my own children. I watch it with especially my middle one. Still out there trying to date or whatever, but the belief structure is just so opposed to sanity and reality that they just walk away. And there are many women are at the same point with the men of today's world too. I get it. I do. Statistically speaking, though, men, strangely enough, have more of the right of this right now, in my opinion. Yeah, please, see light a chain. You're great. Please give us more of the toxic masculinity. Seriously, that term's ridiculous. It just oh, Elizabeth, I am sorry. I am so sorry. It's all the high hops beer, Elizabeth. That's what I'm gonna blame. That's what I'll blame. All right, back to it. I didn't mean to cover that one. It is a great read, though. I don't know why I left it sitting there, but I left it sitting there. What I wanted to get to was things we didn't vote for. Things like removing mother and father terminology, erasing parents and parental rights. Now, the French never wanted mass immigration. French leaders have been claiming immigrants must be stopped for decades, yet migration numbers have never been higher. I thought this one was a good piece. French leaders know how to manipulate their voters, but the voters are also apparently easily manipulated. Every leader from French President Emmanuel Macron to François Mitterrand in the 1980s has decried immigration numbers and promised to crack down, all while allowing immigration numbers to continuously climb year after year. Here's some of the relevant quotes. Macron in 2023, there's an immigration problem in France. 2016, Holland, Prime Minister, there are too many arrivals, immigration that shouldn't be here. 2023, Nicolas Sarkozy, there are too many immigrants in France. 91, Chirac, we must stop family reunification. We must completely revise the right of asylum. We must open the debate on the right of all foreigners to social benefits. 1989, the famous leader Mitterrand said on immigration matters, we have crossed the tolerance threshold. So they keep saying nobody voted for this. They keep voting for people that say they're going to curb it, but nobody does. Then you have to ask yourself, the why? Have we not done this in the U.S.? Have anybody paid attention to Clinton quotes from the 90s? Obama's White House successfully sued the state of Arizona in 2012 for the right to make certain to codify from here on out that the U.S. federal government has the right to enforce immigration, regardless of what the state wants. That it is not a state's right issue, because if one state allows it and another one doesn't, then the state that's allowing it is infringing on the rights of all the citizens in the other states. So this is one of those things where Democrats are suddenly very upset at Trump for enforcing immigration laws, but he would not have that ability if the Supreme Court, because Obama sued for it. Obama's DOJ, Attorney General, etc., sued, took it all the way to the Supreme Court to make certain that the federal government had supremacy on this issue. We want to be here. We keep talking about it, but we don't get what we're asking for. We keep the people, they're clear. Similar to the SAVE Act. They want voter ID. We want these things. Overwhelming portion of the U.S. population wants it. Do we get it? No. Is the Republic working? I would argue no. When do we get what we vote for? I'm reading a few of these. Reading a few of those. Yeah, look at all the rights that folks did for Alan Turing. I look at the Stonewall movement. For those that fought early for gay rights, those that fought so that they don't get beat up in alleys or thrown into prisons. I support that. I do. I just I would argue that today's movement has taken what many legitimately fought hard for to get just the same protection as anybody else and has turned it into a circus, which just sucks for them. Happy anniversary to Sharon and Ken. See, how about all the nuclear material Obama sent Iran? Hillary's supposed to go to Russia. Instead, they just sent money to Russia. It's Thomas. There's a lot to unpack on that one. And I agree, Claire and Wayne. Wayne said, if the government on all levels were voted in and they work for the people, we the people have the right to fire those working against us. And guys, I honestly believe that may be part of your answer. I'm with Alex too on that one. All right, back to that one about voting them out. How many of you guys have done the research in your areas, in your states, what it takes to vote somebody out? Does it require a petition? Is it even possible? Are you just stuck with them until they go, unless you can prosecute them for corruption or something? I do think that we, the people, need to figure out what our legal rights are in our areas and exercise them to remove people that are no longer working as a republic, as a representative form of government. I very much believe we should start doing that. We need to have the petition, put them out there, let people know what we think. They believe at this point that once they get elected, they can do whatever the heck they want. What are we going to do? What's our recourse? We need to show them that we have real legal recourse. I'm not talking about rolling up and overthrowing a government. I'm talking about that at all. I'm talking about our legal processes we already have that we do not exercise. Alex, I agree. Good time to buy physical silver, $69.50. It's a great buying opportunity. And what you're watching right now is an entire world that is trying to cover their butts. They're trying to hedge hard right now. And that's why you're seeing a lot of silver being sold. Did you hear about Russia, United States signing agreement, port of tunnel under Bering Strait? It's been talked about a long time, Todd, but I've not seen anything recently. Legal processes take too much money. Yeah, they do. And that's actually a good thing for us. And you're like, wait, what do you mean, Mark? Every time we throw them a legal curve, every time we go and file, it may cost us 20, 30, $100, whatever it is to file, but then they have to respond to it. They got to pay attorneys and deal with it. Every time we legitimately come after them, they're forced to use resources. This is a legislative civil version of the U.S. spending $2 million for an interceptor to knock down a $20,000 drone. It is not sustainable. And that is the level we have to go to. That's the level the Democrats went to. Death by 1,000 cuts. Conservatives, America First people, you're going to have to embrace a death by 1,000 cuts, because that is exactly the playbook they've been playing on us or working on us. And it has been wildly effective. Mr. C can lead the charge. That's right. Let's get to it. Mr. C, give us a call. I've talked long enough. I actually talked a little longer than I thought I would. Dominion Energy just increased our electric bill almost 30%. Welcome to it. They're here for you. How do we, the people, and this is the question that we need to answer, how do we have that recourse? How do we redress those grievances? Just because it hadn't happened doesn't mean we can't make it happen. How do I feel about this week? I feel really good about it. Excuse me. I got my fingers crossed. I got my toes crossed. I got so much chatter right now that I don't even know what to do with it. Hello, Mr. C.
Good morning, Mark. How are you this morning?
I am pretty good. How about yourself?
Hanging in there, hanging in there.
Hanging in there or doing great?
I'm not doing great. I'm just hanging in there. I am proofreading my book so far. Almost 1,000 pages. It's driving me nuts.
Are you finding yourself changing the book, or when you're proofreading, are you just cleaning some things up?
Mostly it's grammar and syntax. I'm not really changing anything. I'm just more or less adding. I've added the last, the last 6 months of key reports that Chris published into the text of the book, because I want to show how much we were in line, how much I contributed, obviously, and how much access he really had internationally. That's amazing.
It's when I go back through the old, I'm sorry, I keep looking down at the phone because I look like I'm trying to talk to you, or I feel that way. I need to be looking at the screen, but reading a lot of Chris's stuff over the years, and there's so much of it out there. I really need to release those websites again. I need to dig them back up. His connections were unreal.
Yeah, I was amazed in reading this and going back over it and talking with Dana. Chris was so plugged into the system in the UK, MI6, and actually the CIA in the US. It was just incredible. He pulled out stuff that I couldn't believe. And I was the central guest, more or less, of our operation, because I would get intel from other places in the world, and then Chris would get his. We'd combine the two, and then his articles would describe what was going on. And it's a 1,000 page, not including the exhibits. So I'm expecting it to be close to 1,500 pages, and it drives me crazy.
And as soon as it's out, guys, then we release the information of where you can buy it, when you can buy it, all those things. Until he finishes writing and publishing, you can't buy it. No need to jump through hoops, and there's nothing to share on that front yet. I see a lot of folks in chat. How do we get it? How do we get it? It's not time yet.
Not finished. I got a lot to do. Bibliography, name index, and just putting all the structure together. It's going to take me a while longer, but I'm getting there. It just amazes me. And what's interesting is I come across letters that I actually did not receive from Al, when he wrote various things. And Chris has them in his published article verbatim. I'd like to read a small portion of one that Al submitted to the British Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne, on 8 July 2010. And this is appropriate because it's very interesting to me. This is what Al wrote to the Honorable George Osborne. I write on behalf of my clients, Michael C. Cottrell, VAMS, of Erie, Pennsylvania, and his corporations, Pennsylvania Investments, Inc., registered in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and Cottrell Securities Limited, registered in England and Wales. I'm advised and understand that the lien holders of the banks executed a foreclosure and management takeover on Friday and Saturday, July 2nd and 3rd, of Deutsche Bank in Frankfurt, Germany, and Bank of America, Charlotte, North Carolina. They, quote, cleaned out, unquote, both banks of people working for the opponents and cleared toxic debt, including derivatives, off the bank balance sheets. Accordingly, they took Deutsche Bank out of control of Angela Merkel and opponents in Germany, and they took Bank of America out of possible control by the opponents of this country. These funds were available for distribution on Tuesday, July 6, 2010. Because of George Bush Sr. was initiating interference, the Chinese authorities had a talk, quote unquote, with Bush Sr. By Wednesday afternoon, a full compliance officer meeting had been conducted, and the appropriate parties were again prepared to initiate the transfers when Mr. Leon Panetta, pursuant to instructions from President Obama and George Bush Sr., issued instructions to the banking authorities to, quote, placate but do not pay, unquote. This prevented the authorities from making any such transfers. I'm advised that the Chinese authorities then had another, quote unquote, talk with Bush Sr., and that all was ready again today on July 7 to commence at 3 p.m. that afternoon. At approximately 3 p.m. East Coast time, I was told by several sources George Bush Sr. apparently contacted President Obama and instructed him not to allow the release of the funds. Bush Sr. then advised the president that if funds were released, Bush would, quote, go to the Supreme Court and have Obama's presidency terminated, unquote. In accord with these instructions, the payout of the World Global Settlement Funds has not proceeded. That tells you the Mickey Mouse that was going on. Very interesting stuff.
No, it is. I don't know if you've got anything you want to cover specifically. I know I've had a lot of questions over the past week or two over, that the regular one you get, why Mr. C, but also some qualifications or background on yourself and myself. Why are we any more qualified to talk about this than somebody else?
Fire away. Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, do you want to jump first? Do you want me to jump first? I don't.
Well, the reason I'm in this mess, and it is a mess, is because I told Bush Sr., who my junior partner in the broker-dealer, went out and talked to Bush Sr. and recruited me, unbeknownst to me, to work for Bush Sr. and to work directly for him through my broker-dealer and other companies. I told Bush Sr. and MarkZ, Mark Reynolds from Greenville, North Carolina, to shove it up his royal butt in very colorful terms. Well, Bush Sr. was listening on a conference call because Mark was in the Houstonian in Texas, and Sr. was at the White House. And I told him, in no way in hell am I going to work for the man. Period. End of story. I'm the one that took the exams. I'm the one that's at risk. Nobody else. I'm not going to do it. Well, as a result of that, they stole my companies, my signature, my name, and then marketed me around the world. At which point, I was working with someone called Leon Morris, ex-SEAL, ex-Vietnam vet. And at the time, he was an honorarily appointed admiral in the Oklahoma Navy by Clinton. He worked directly for Sr. and Clinton. They brought me in 1995, 96. I was presented before the World Court as the second only person to be approved by the World Court to be involved with the Chiang Kai-shek et al. Syndication or sale and or hypothecation of the precious metals and monies received from the the FDR administration in the 30s, late 30s and early 40s of World War II. That amounted to a tremendous amount of money. At that time, we were involved in putting together a platinum transaction whereby we would sell or hypothecate. It started out with a couple hundred tons, but it ended up being 6,000 metric tons of platinum, which earned me a hell of a payday, but I never got paid. At that point, because of the recognition with the Chinese, I was given a lot of credit, which was surprising to me. And then down the road, worked with Admiral Morris, with regard to the 108 team, which was really the let me get the right term for it. It was an asset management, the DAMP G7 asset management program, which is where they were putting a lot of this platinum for hypothecation and forfeiting. Now, I talk about forfeiting because it was a way to take an instrument, borrow against it, go on that transaction, and leverage the transaction at sometimes up to 1,000% per tranche, by the way, which led to the eventual, shall we say, distribution of $1,000 trillion, Q, that was held by the Bank of England for distribution, which we saw in 2008, 7 and 8. Okay, at this point, I was brought in to this situation with Morris, and we were, the caveat was I had to participate via an agreement to buy King Fod's DC-8, which was used to transport cocaine, etc., under the Eagle 2 program of Bush Senior around the world. And this was supposed to have been my swan song to throw my butt in jail. But as it turned out, when I was deposed for 11 and a half hours, or after this thing was declared to be a case, they threw me off the case because I had 600 pages of documents. They had 20, and I had the right to come back at them because it really did cause my fourth stroke. Now, at that point, I was actually brought into Delmarva Timber Trust. Dana Wilcox was working with Owen Metals, who was brought in by Eisenhower. He and Bill Casey ran this money. That money came from Germany after World War II, brought into the United States by the 8th Air Force. And that was a huge amount of money. Greenspan and various other peoples in Wall Street had control of these funds, including Buffett, by the way. That was all well and good. But then, as things got along, Owen Metals died with a trust called Delmarva Timber Trust in place, but it had been sort of left run down. So Dana and I came in. I was brought onto the board. We then revitalized the trust, brought it up to date in Maryland, Delmarva Timber Trust, and we went forward from there. Unfortunately, that caused the other trustees to become a little bit jealous because I had submitted an OFAC filing, Office of Foreign Asset Control, for the funds that were due to Owen Metals, because Owen Metals and Bill Casey had divvied up in the 80s, late 80s, the funds between the two operations, the Casey Trust as well as Delmarva Timber Trust. And at that point, Delmarva slid a little bit, quite a bit actually. When that ended up going to the court in 2004 and 5, I was told by the court to be stricken from the roles as the last trustee of Delmarva Timber Trust, which was a $500 trillion trust, by the way.
That's a good size.
With most of the funds in the Bank of England, which we're still fighting over. At that point, Leo came onto the scene, and Leo Wanta. And Leo was, at that point in Toronto, he was working, this goes back to the 80s. He was a courier for Reagan to the Chinese to propose a program to bring China into the World Trade Organization. Dana, his father, had patents on welding materials and welding techniques for building ships. And the Japanese had paid a tremendous amount of money into the Bank of China for Dana's father. That could not be repatriated into the United States. Well, Bill Casey got approval with Owen Metals and with Dana to bring that money back into the States to be used more or less as the bona fides to start a forfeiting program for the China venture to bring China into the WTO. About $380 million. And that was done. And Leo then, with Howie Kwok, who was a colonel in the Chinese People's Army, whose father was very much involved in the Tong, very much involved in the Sun family, and was instrumental in doing with his brothers. He had a brother as a banker in Switzerland, and they had a very instrumental operation in forfeiting the programs. Leo did not have the qualifications to do the forfeiting banking, but Howie did under special permission by Reagan to do so, and China. Leo took that proposal to China single-handedly, and it was accepted. So they went and did this with Citibank out of Singapore issuing the John Reed issuing the documents, the bonds, which was the beginning of the prosperity program, by the way. Okay, so we went to that point, and then all of a sudden, in about 2000, more or less, and I have the dates, but at this moment I just want to go through the system. Bush went over to Singapore and confronted Leo and Howie Kwok, to hand over the monies that they made that they bought a bank with. And Howie told them, shove it up your butt, or actually he told them much more coarser information than that to his face. And within 2 weeks, they killed Howie, quote unquote. And Leo was threatened with death if he said a word. So he was brought back to the States, actually by Vice President Quayle in his aircraft under his auspices. And they took him to D.C., and Leo was further at D.C., so they took him to Toronto. And he stayed in the Ambassador Village in Toronto, which correspondingly, which is kind of funny because in 95, when I started working in Toronto, my barrister, one of my barristers I had in Toronto, was also the ambassador's son's attorney, which was, it was all crazy, but, you know, we had conflicts of interest, but we had Chinese walls, more or less like the Glass-Steagall Act. So as a result of all that, and the fact that I was brought into Delmarva Timber Trust, Leo asked Dina to bring me into this situation on his behalf. So then I started as the executive vice president, treasurer, and secretary of America Trust Group, Inc. out of Richmond, Virginia, which he was still trying to get paid. At that point, the Chinese had $27 trillion to $47 trillion under a special arrangement, which with the court, the United States court, to allow Leo to be paid with Howie after taxes. However, Bush Sr. would not allow him to be paid. And that's how things really got to rolling at that point. And then we go from there. But I was brought in by the Golden Dragon, who was responsible for taking the monies off balance sheet, which were in China, put on ships, and for the payment of Leo by the court hearing that he had under Judge Lee in the United States Court, District Court in Virginia. And from that point forward, it got to be really interesting. And the Golden Dragon, as a result of my what shall we call it, stupidity or ignorance or bravery, whichever you want to call it, for telling Bush to shove it, that he decided that based on that and the fact that they couldn't be bought or bullied or extorted, and they did a hell of a lot to me, to become part and parcel to the Gold Treaty. So I was written into the Gold Treaty, which was a furtherance of the Monaco Agreement. And the Gold Treaty was signed on 21 April 2013. And that's how I got into this. And from there, it was just amazing. Because Chris and I did 4 affidavits to the Queen. The Queen authorized a 6.2 loan to me, Michael C. Cottrell, Pennsylvania Investments, / Dana Wilcox, for the refunding project of the US dollar. And that long fight was on and on and on.
Yeah.
We're still fighting.
Yeah. And yeah, it seems like the forever fight. Another thing I've noticed, and then I'll do a little background on me at some point here. They've almost erased the Wanta Reagan Mitterrand protocols from history at this point.
Yeah.
Any comments or thoughts on that? And then I've got to ask you, like, where does global intelligence, Peter Mayhew, and CMKM fit into this too?
Okay. The Reagan meter-on protocols are still in place. They are now part of the gold treaty. And what's interesting to me, one of the reasons why you see Putin hanging on with his fingernails is the meter-on protocols require whoever's in charge of Russia when the gold treaty is executed will get $30 billion personally. That is in the agreement. France will get money, Britain will get money, the US will get money, but that is a major, major operation, and that still is in place. Now, as far as the Mayhew operation, I was brought into that because of the L. Hodges, after seeing that Chris and I had gone to the Queen for the last sovereignty in the world to take control of this incredibly complex, corrupt financial terrorist operation headed by the White House, Bush Sr., W. Clinton, and Obama. He brought me in. Al Hodges wanted to join forces, and then at that point we did. And then he, in 2010, went ahead and resubmitted the affidavits that we had submitted to the palace, which had been redirected to 10 Downing Street. And then
to bypass the palace.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was to bypass the palace. That was purposely not to make things to stall things.
That is correct. However, the Queen did see one when I asked for a $6.2 trillion loan to do the refunding project, since the president would not allow it. And so it was an actual loan, a bridge loan, as she called it. And that's what Elle was talking about in 2010, because she had signed off on that 3 times. But Senior had stolen the monies 3 times.
Yeah, that should we even get into the whole ping and tap?
Oh, TAP program? Well, that was the basis of the forfeiting programs. You did not have to participate in the program itself. For example, in 2002, I set up an account in Benchmark Securities, which turned out to be a real fraudulent operation, and is now under investigation, or has been an investigation by Interpol, and which was really a further linkage by Bush Sr. And I set up a ping scenario whereby monies that had been submitted, 500 million, had been deposited into an account by David Buckmaster, one of Bush Sr.'s bond administrators under Herbert Bush, Bost, B-O-S-T. And that account was set up. So I linked my securities account to that account, and it's called a ping account. All they had to do was ping it, and that transaction happened. And they pinged that account 7 times. I did not receive a dime. They made we know they made $5 trillion, because the contract that I had been awarded by Deutsche Bank was $5 trillion with rolls and extensions. So as a result, $6 billion of bonds with my names on it are floating around the world. But Mayhew's intelligence operation was very much involved with Al in tracking down the monies for CMKX.
For those that want to know what we're talking about, CMKX, CMKM Diamonds. I'll throw that in the links too. SEC commissioner slapped a $3.87 trillion lawsuit by CMKM Diamond shareholders. There is so much to unpack that we don't have time in this one, but I will start dropping some links because a lot of people are asking, well, what is that? Where does that come from?
It's huge.
It's huge.
We started talking about this, at least on open air, in 2017, June of 2017. Amazing.
Really is. For myself, business, originally from Western Pennsylvania, had bars, restaurants, owned a pot farmer too. CBD as well, farm. Many restaurant bars, and then I got into, when Enron fell apart, coal and oil to help family members and friends get leases with my uncle. because it just fell apart, left so many people holding the bag. Where's their land? Where are their gas rights, wells? Who's getting their commission? So we spent a lot of time from coal country in Southwest Virginia all the way up to Southwest New York, helping individuals. And then we got into equipment, redoing mining rigs, working with Tonkin, some folks up there, and took a vacation to Africa with the kids, wanted to see these things, met some people, started supplying some equipment there and pieces and parts, and it grew from there. Partner Tom, former special forces, we were all over Africa helping with the mining industry and got into gold mining. People buying our gold were central banks, Bank of Japan, many others, because they were preparing. This would be close to the year 2000, early 2000s, because they were preparing for a reset to gold. They didn't know when it was happening. They guessed somewhere between 2020 and 2030. At least that's what they were being told, but they had started the process. And during all that, because I was into mining, I found CMKM, really had great potential, enormous potential, until it was stolen from and bought stock. And the rest of it just becomes history. So many years in it, got to meet Mr. C through Al Hodges and Sheila and Ray, and got to start sharing all the contacts that we had met from what he did for work, what I did for work, and the many contacts you develop over the years in an industry. Boy, that was a long short of it. I was just trying to keep it short for those that were wondering. For those that want to know, in college, studied political science and economics. I know, shocker, right?
It's good. That's good. That's good. It's, you know, you really have to have, it's interesting to me, you have to have a background in something to understand the machinations of what was going on. It surprises me. I was just telling my wife last night, I am shocked in doing the proofreading how many treasonous, corrupt operations and operations that were put together by Cheney and W and Senior, mostly Senior and Cheney, to stop payment on all this stuff and to collect all the money. There's a question here by Frank Airborne regarding which family had been running the UK banking. Well, up until Soros crashed a pound in the 70s, it was the Rothschilds. Mm-hmm. After that, it really became the rat operation, as I call them, Bush Senior, Rothschild, and Soros. Now, they had different agendas. Soros's agenda basically is to destroy the United States of America. He's done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, pretty much. It seems to be his job to destroy it. Somebody asking, Tina wants to know, Mr. C, so the Queen wasn't bad herself? Was she just controlled?
Well, she started working with Reagan and Thatcher, basically. And that's when she made a tremendous amount of money. They made over $20 billion for the royal family, which is part of her inheritance, off balance sheet. But as far as being good and evil, no, they had good intentions in what they were trying to do. But the problem was the worm in the apple was Bush Senior, who was vice president to Reagan. And at that point, when they tried to kill Reagan twice, and Wanta was involved in both attempts, and because he worked directly for a Senior, which you found out later, Bush Senior. The Queen really was in a pickle. But as you now see, the rats eat the rats. They eat their own.
Yes, they do.
What happened is
cannibalistic.
When the Queen tried to prevent this situation with Leo Wanta's money and Howie Qualcomm's money, that's when they started turning on the Queen. And through Cheney, they stole her gold. They stole her money.
Oh, wait a minute. Something just went funky there. Give me a second, guys. Hopefully we get Mr. C back. Are you back, Mr. C? I lost you.
Gold court.
Okay. We lost about 30 seconds on you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not surprising.
No.
Which part?
Go
ahead.
I think we were at the part where, oh shoot, I'm trying to remember. Is anybody off the top of their head where we're at? I was busy trying to play the tech part. We were somewhere with disappearing money.
Well, Cheney in particular, through W, stole the Queen's gold and monies and the bridge loan of the 6.2 trillion that was to come to me separately. That was all lumped together and stolen by actually Bush Sr. And he refused to give it back.
Reagan, I have great opinion of Reagan. I feel like he got, well, I shouldn't say I feel like, I've got people inside the Reagan administration, inside the White House, will just blatantly tell you when his mind started going about the beginning of a second term, Bush he had a mole on the inside, absolutely derailing the efforts. Is accurate take in your opinion, or am I just naive and just trying to remember my youth?
Absolutely. Because remember, Jimmy Carter had named him as the DCI of the CIA. So he had all those years before he was fired to infiltrate the CIA and really cause the schism that we're seeing today. The Brennan operation was really cultivated by Bush Sr. And he put the right people, according to him, quote unquote, in the position of the CIA. So we have the rogue CIA actually reporting directly to Senior, and we have the correct CIA reporting to the president. And Carter had no idea what the hell he was doing, had no idea what the hell Bush was doing until it was too late. He was a useful idiot.
Yeah, unfortunately. Question for Mr. C. Have you physically seen or handled any of the new 2008 or the 2008 rainbow currency, the ones that are supposed to replace it? The second question doesn't make any sense to me. What happened with Visa, MasterCard, American Express, these card contracts in the banks in 2024?
Well, first off, nobody's seen, except those who work in the bank, have access to the vaults, have seen the rainbow currency. That was put together in 2008 in preparation for the gold treaty, which was not written at the time. By the way, throughout this whole process, as you read the book, you'll see that the beginnings of the gold treaty were started back in the early 2000s as the Golden Dragon, who signed in blood for all the off-balance sheet gold bullion in the world. He was attempting to resolve the problems, not only for China, but also for everyone else, and what was known as the whack-a-mole program, which carried on even through, that's actually going on even now. But it's amazing stuff.
Somebody asked an interesting one. I'm going to avoid some of these, Steve. Wasn't Reagan a member of the Bohemian Grove Club? I was always told he was invited. They claimed he was a member. He was there a couple hours and said, these people are nuts. Before any of the real crazy started happening in the meetings, he was like, yeah, these people are nuts. And was like, yeah, I'm going home. And went back to his ranch in California, like early. This is before he was president. There are a number of people Bohemian Grove claim belong that never went. They just said, boom, you're our member. I guess it gives them some kind of control or manipulation. Your thoughts on that one?
He was brought in because of Barbara. Now, if you trace or look at Barbara's background, which you can do, it's amazing the evilness that was perpetrated throughout her family. And Bush Sr. Bought into it when he married her, and he was not accepted at first, but then he became corrupt enough for them to take over. Remember, well, you don't know this, but basically Bush Sr. was the true Manchurian Candidate. The Manchurian Candidate scenario and movie that was put together and basically produced by Frank Sinatra was real, but it was not so real that they named names. It was real because it was really Bush Sr. And then, as we know, Bush Sr. was instrumental in the killing of Kennedy. So, and also the rise of the Federal Reserve.
I just noticed time. We've really gotten carried away, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Can I hit you with just one more to get your thoughts?
Fire away. I'm okay.
A lot of people asking, how does Judge Anna Von Reitz fit into this one? She in charge of all her money, the New Republic. I think she's been, great at harassing them, holding their nose to the grindstone in court, but I don't consider her an important piece in this. But your thoughts?
Well, I don't know who educated her, but her education is a little bit lacking. But unfortunately, the Interpol, when she started attacking me, Interpol sat on her and told her where the bear walked around in the woods, basically, and told her to shut up and sit down. So her sovereignty operation is interesting, but it will not hold water under the Gold Treaty. Nor will Trump put up with it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nor will Trump put up with it.
For me, I think it's been great that she's been holding their nine stones, pushing to the grindstone, pushing the sovereignty, and it's another angle in the attack. But I don't think she's the answer. I do that. I guess that's just where I leave it. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, the Postmaster General, this, but if you didn't sign a flag this way, come on, guys. Does anybody have the right to sign away your sovereignty other than you yourself? People don't get to give away your sovereignty. They don't get to claim that you took a shot and now it's patented and you belong to us. It's just stop with that dumb shit. Look in the mirror, look yourself in the eyes and go, I am sovereign. I answer to my God and my family and the Constitution. You don't belong to somebody because they claim you or because they put a flag in a courtroom somewhere else. That's BS. Anybody that believes that, Satan is now in control of your life because he can tell you any lie. That's my 2 cents on that one. It's the craziest thing ever.
I agree.
All right, Mr. C, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and we appreciate you.
Well, I thank you. And I thank Lyman, too, by the way, who's helped continue this operation. I do appreciate getting on the soapbox, although today was not my intent to go back through history, but I'll tell you, it is something that's necessary for people to understand.
It really
is. Because a lot of gurus out there are now talking the very points I made several years ago, and now they're saying this is reality. I saw the Axios article that came out earlier this week with the timetable on it, which is very, very interesting because for years they told me I was full of BS, and now all of a sudden they're saying what I was saying was real. So again, I appreciate the ability and the time to come out on my soapbox. I appreciate it. I sure hope as heck that we get paid this weekend, but who knows?
Amen.
So see you next week, if not sooner.
Take care, Mr. C.
Thank you. Bye now.
Boy, sorry about that. I got carried away. Guru's probably hanging in the back going, come on, Mark. Come on, Mark, right?
Good morning, Mark. Yeah, come on.
Come on, Mark. Yeah, I looked down at the time and I was like, oh, crap.
No, I almost missed the show as it is. It's just been chaotic, man. Just trying to get things around. I'm actually down here at the warehouse and the manufacturing, trying to get these guys going on a few different projects, and it's crazy. So
hardly leaves time for a young man. You really are tackling a lot all at one time between young children, family, work, warehouses, you name it.
Yeah, well, and what's nice is like now that the kids are out of school, I was able to bring them down here, so they're actually had fun, just kind of hanging out, swimming a little bit, and so I'm also able to get some work done. So in that regard, it's nice, but it's also difficult, like you say, trying to all these different projects, manufacturing everything out of stock, trying to figure out ordering everything, and then you have the kids who are like, I'm hungry. It's 11 o'clock. What are we eating? Can we
throw
get?
me in the pool?
Yeah. It's like, back and forth, but it works out well. It really does. So,
all right. Do you want me to do the Uncle Matt part and tell them how to get into the website?
Yeah,
and then, we start going from there.
Yeah, you can if you'd like to.
All right, guys, you go to the cbdgurus.com. Once you're on the website, look for the wholesale tab, MarkZ wholesale. And if you want to know what that passcode is, it is KRAMCBD. Just look at that ticker on the top. I'll even add it to the description of the video later. Um, Enter, you are in there, and yeah, I'm really excited about what you're doing this week on the marketing front on
Well,
that
we
new
wanted to
special.
I wanted to do something different, And so I already I went and talked to the guys this morning that are packing it up uh and all this. So what's going to happen is that they're not going to send out any orders today. So
Yeah, we lost him. Hopefully, he's coming back any second.
I got a call.
Oh,
Yeah, I got a call coming in, so it cut me out. Can you
that's
hear me
okay.
again?
Yeah, we can hear you again.
Okay. So so um so nothing will go out today. Okay, guys. So anyone who orders today, tomorrow, and Sunday, right? Any on Sunday night, or probably actually Monday morning, because I'll let it run until midnight Sunday night. And then so when I wake up early in the morning, I will compile everyone. And people ask, well, how many? Well, like usually there's not a ton, right? So there's not a ton of people, but we're going to take all those people that did order from today through Sunday, and then we're just going to randomize. We're going to put all your names in a hat, and we're going to draw 20 names. And the 20 people whose names we draw, you'll have a ounce of silver. It'll be in a clear protective case, but we're thinking we're probably going to tape it, Mark, on
Oh yeah,
on one of your products.
that's probably a
And
good idea.
so we'll tape an entire ounce of silver. I don't even know what silver's up to nowadays. What is it at right now?
It just tanked. It's down to about $70 an ounce right now.
Oh,
Which
I mean, it's still pretty
actually I want to
good.
say it's. Hold on here. No, that's going to be a great thing. I mean, the
Yeah, but
buyers.
everything. Yeah. So I mean,
Um,
pretty much, if you get a winner, you
it's
get
like 80
pretty
extra bucks,
much.
pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, you're pretty much getting 70-80% off. But yeah, so you'll have
Yeah.
an
Wow.
ounce,
Think about that one.
and then here's the
70,
thing,
80% off.
guys. Definitely, check in to Mark's Monday morning show, and we'll probably, or not probably, I'll be on there, and it'll just be a quick excerpt, and I'm going to read the 20 names. Obviously not their full names, but you get my point. Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
you'll
yeah.
know pretty quick in a hurry if you were the one of the winners. But yeah, we'll do a reading of all the winners on Mark's show Monday morning.
I think that's pretty cool. 20 ounces of silver getting given away Monday morning, and it's any purchase goes into that one.
It's
You're
going to
in.
be, hey, this is year 250. I don't think people realize the significance of the United States hitting 250 years. I mean, it's so monumental. So many countries. Usually, that 250 mark is a big indicator on what direction a country goes.
They're gonna make it
Um,
or
it,
not.
it is a huge indicator. And so people are like, oh, it's just another year. 250. What's the big deal between that and 300? It's like historically, we have seen countries either fail or succeed based upon 250 years. So it'll definitely be, it's a great turning point, and we're going to make it big this year. Tons of giveaways all summer long. It's going to get pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I do. I'm very excited about this weekend one. I think it's going to be just fantastic.
So
Yeah, a lot of folks asking if Colorado is going to come back online. I saw that one. I have no idea. I probably should have asked you offline before I even read that question to you.
no. I mean, I think so. I mean, granted, because originally a long time ago, we manufactured out of Colorado, and then got out of there, and we're down in Florida now, and it was a great decision because of where Colorado's at, and a lot of my really really close friends who also manufacture, they're either going out of business, or they're just trying to figure out different plans. But then there's also some that are super hopeful, that are working through kind of the issues and, pushing back against the government control.
Yeah, I
But
think
there's just Colorado's a
whoever
lot,
survives
man.
this is going to kill it.
Oh, well, I mean, people only see the surface level. Like they don't realize, even with the new gun regulations that they have put into Colorado, which is crazy prohibitive on so many different levels, they're talking, there's speculation out there that 80 to 90% of every gun store in the entire state's going to go out of business. And it's crazy the amount of businesses that
That's a lot of
Colorado is
jobs. It's
pushing out. It
a lot of
is.
jobs, a lot of real estate that's suddenly going to be empty and leases broken. And I don't think people fully understand the ripple effects when government just willy-nilly makes changes.
No, and the hard part, I think, that trickle down effect that you talk of, like it doesn't happen immediate. Like
Nope.
all of this, it all happens now, and then you start seeing the trickle effect, 6 months, a year down the road, when you have, like you say, all the real estate, all the people without jobs. Like it's a compounding problem that doesn't have a great instant solution.
That's the truth. Sluggo just said, remember back in 1976, we celebrated the bicentennial for months. I mean, it was a huge thing. I remember as a kid, it was a
Oh
huge
yeah.
thing. We had coins being stamped. I mean, it was a huge thing.
Man.
Question
I mean,
for you.
I don't think we're going to be
K2D3 gun.
around for. Okay, K2D3. I don't think we've put it back on the site. I want to say we don't have a ton made because I just found enough allulose to do the gummies in. Um, I think I have a couple hundred bottles. Um, I haven't asked Scotty to put them back up on the site. So just give me a couple days, or maybe I'll text him after the show and let him know. But we just made up a couple hundred bottles until we can get more made. The allulose was the problem in that case. So these ingredients, Mark, I mean, it's still difficult. Things we could get in 5 to 7 days or 10 days, ingredient wise, is now taking 3 to 4 weeks. So it's really throwing off our forecasting pretty significantly.
Which just sucks.
It does.
Yeah, any of these specific products that you want to cover today, or any of those?
Definitely I don't know if you guys went on and watched the show from, what was it, last Thursday, about 8 days ago.
Oh, the
But we
mushroom one.
started,
That went great.
yeah, yeah. You know what? So one thing that I would say, I went down a deep rabbit hole. Sometimes I like to do this, but I went down the Yamabushi monks in Japan, thousands of years ago. They actually drank, through through these historians. They said that the drink that they would drink was like they'd make a tea out of lion's mane, and they would do this before like their long meditation
Mm-hmm.
sessions to keep their mind super sharp. And they just did it. And it leads me down this rabbit hole, because why did they use that? Like, how did the first person be like, hey, let's turn this into a tea and see what happens? Right. And so they did this for,
You're right.
thousands of years. And then not until, Kawagishi, a chemist in Japan, found out that it stimulated protein that, grows neurons. And so the monks were right. It's just the science was not there, and, hadn't caught up yet. So it's really cool that the history of the benefits of lion's mane, and I feel like people underestimate and don't really understand how well it really works for just your mind, and especially nowadays, getting the fogginess out, keeping you sharp, keeping you energized, and just being able to focus and deal with the stressors of this world. We have a lot of them.
There's one that I know you can't carry yet, but I am very hopeful that at some point it will, on the mushroom front, guys. Alzheimer's patient gets back speech, continence, and memory after 5 grams of experimental drug. That experimental drug is psilocybin mushrooms. After a decade of cognitive functional decline, 80-year-old patient with advanced Alzheimer's showed remarkable signs of recovery. All she took was a single dose of an experimental psilocybin mushroom, magic mushrooms, to get her speaking more than she had in years. And that's just the top of the list of all the improvements. mushrooms, I'm telling you, man, it's the past is the future of medicine and functional medicine. It's using food for medicine.
I agree. And it's, I mean, granted, guys, like, I mean, psilocybin, like, obviously that's illegal mostly throughout the entire US. And they are pushing forward on a lot of different states to get, you know, Colorado is the forefront of, you know, of that, trying to push it forward, trying to get more medical usage and getting it out there. But man, like, you know, like you say 5 grams, Mark, 5 grams, whew,
That's
that's
God
a
trip.
ton.
Yep,
That's a huge dose. So
it's a big
obviously it's
one.
done under medical supervision and stuff like that. But there's a lot of promising things. I think it was it Colorado, Mark, where they started like under medical supervision. They were doing it
Yeah,
for extreme PTSD cases
yeah, in
for military
Colorado and
vets.
in Colorado and Oakland, California, of all places, and then they Seattle or one of those are like, wait a minute, this has huge potential, but the studies are just they're beyond encouraging. They're
They
downright
are.
astounding.
If we can just, you know, it's hard because, you know, we really need to fast track this. And the hard part is we're dealing with the government and fast tracking. I don't think they understand at all what that means or the process to
No.
fast track anything.
Oh, I forgot to sing happy birthday today. I'll still sing
Oh,
happy birthday, Big
oh,
D. Big D's birthday and Big
we
D's twin. Yeah. I won't let the day end without the birthday. Um Big 64. Creatine gummies had somebody asking on that front for you. Are they back in
ran
soon?
a ran a batch yesterday. About a half a batch. Well, I should say that we're still playing around with this new mixer and trying to kind of figure that out, guys. But we did get some ran. We're still playing around with that. So what I might do, Mark, honestly, in the meantime, is maybe I'll do a powder. Let me know what you guys think. But while we're still, you know, getting some of these gummies in, I know I can't make them fast enough for you guys right now. So one thing I thought about doing is potentially doing like a creatine, whether it be a powder or
Capsule.
whether it be a capsule, and we do creatine and some mushroom mix as well in it.
That's probably
Maybe,
not a
you know,
bad idea.
just the mental that you know, the benefits from creatine. Maybe we do a little lion's mane with the creatine, and maybe we do a capsule until we can really nail these the gummies down.
That
So
would be some super brain food. I don't think people understand some of the studies with creatine of late.
no, but I think they're coming. They're really the benefits, the mental. I mean, I do it nearly every day, and I'll tell you what. When I don't do creatine, my sleep suffers so much, and I track everything. So I track my, you know, like my HRV, my variable heart rate throughout the night, the amount of sleep, deep sleep, REM, and when I do creatine, it's like a night and day difference. So it's a 100%. Like for me, it's a necessity.
Um, so we got the creatine. We talked about that one. Boy, I had some other creatine cat. I love that idea. I like that idea a lot. Um, Somebody asking when are D9 10 milligrams back in stock? Of course, I
Ooh,
didn't know they were out.
I didn't know they were out of stock either. They might be.
250
We're doing
count.
a
Here's
little bit of a transition, guys, too. So you know, we're trying to get inventory levels
oh,
back up, getting you guys things. It might,
we
is
got
it out of stock?
10 count Delta 9 gummies, 10 milligram. They're 10, but they're $1 a gummy. So they do have 10 milligram right here. The 10 milligram ones per gummy. They are in stock. We got them right beside the fives in the specials. Let's see. Yeah, anything you want to, just start jumping. Let's see. And they're asking for CBD mushroom pet treats as well.
Pet treats, those look like those will be probably a week from today. So they're made. We just got once they're cured, bottle them up. So yeah, give me like a week to get those back in stock. Pet treats will be in, and then we're also going to probably do a few different pet treats that we make in house. So like maybe some larger dog treats, different
Nice.
shapes, stuff like that.
I'm ready for mushroom jerky. Um,
Mushroom jerky.
jerky.
Yeah, man, we used to have this guy growing up on a farm. There was this old meat processing plant, and I've never had jerky like this before, but it was like a quarter inch thick and pretty long, probably like a foot long, maybe 2 inches wide. And you used to buy it for like 25 cents, right?
Hmm.
And we'd go in and buy it, and it was the best, super salty, but like, I mean, you gnawed on that thing for like an hour. I mean, just tough as leather. And my mom would buy it for us boys, and we would just sit there and she probably did it just to keep us from talking, because we just sit there and just gnaw on this thing. Yeah.
That's one thing.
It
Like in
was,
Puerto Rico, Sam's, they don't have like all the beef jerky choices they have like at a Sam's Club or just beef jerky in general. I mean, it's there, but it is not. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen it at the Sam's Club when you get the semi-affordable big bags. But I love beef jerky. That's part of what I get excited about coming to the States for, is I take all kinds of beef jerky back with me.
well, it's crazy. But then, like, I go to the store and buy beef jerky, and I'm like, wait a minute, you can bite all the way through this? Like, it's soft. Like, I'm expecting like something rock hard, because this old place that would process meat, they would just take like pure steak, and then they just cut it, and then they would do just like there was no additives except for salt. So it would literally be just beef and salt, like a piece of
Hmm.
steak and
Pretty
salt,
much.
and it's like it's tough as nails, like when you actually have real beef jerky. And then like I go to the store, I'm like, they're like, oh, you want beef jerky? I'm like, that ain't beef jerky, guys.
Yeah, that's
there's
that's a,
there's
that's a beef product stick. It's kind of like a
yeah,
cheese product.
yeah, that's just like ground up and like dehydrated. Like I want just like a raw piece of steak dehydrated, and I just want to gnaw on that thing for a half a day.
Hmm. Yeah, Hoop's not certain what that question is. Let's see. Look, like rawhide for humans. That's exactly what it's like. Bucky's jerky. I want to go into Bucky's just to look at the jerky section.
You know what? I Thinking about that, I was just at a Bucky's, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And I don't know why I went there, just because it's like the most chaos that I've ever experienced at a gas station before in my life. But I didn't. But I did get the
Man.
brisket burrito, but I did not.
Ooh.
I did not look at their beef jerky section.
Oh, it sounded good though.
Hmm.
Sounded really good. Hey, what else do you want to get into today? Do you want me to keep throwing questions? And
Yeah, we can do. Let's do a couple questions, and then we'll just call it good, and then we'll jump on back. I'm excited to
I'm
jump
really
on
looking
back
forward to Monday morning.
Monday morning, guys. I'm excited to announce the names. Like I'm super pumped.
People keep asking for hair products. Guys, Lucas doesn't have hair. He
I
shaves
was
his
just
head.
gonna say, I feel like Kukla brought that question in just to mock
Do you
me.
feel targeted?
I do feel targeted. It's not my fault, Kukla. Gosh, you just became my least favorite, Kukla. Gosh.
Oh, Hoops is talking about Hoops. We've talked about this probably 100, maybe 200 times on the show right now. Website is going to be changing and moving. The person that originally set it up, the email goes to them, and I have to go through hell every year to make any changes or to update the fees. And I'm just tired of messing with them. They want me to buy my own site from myself for like 10 grand. And I am just of the hell no mindset. So bear with it. It will happen when it happens, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't you love when they put you in jail? They're like they
yeah,
build everything and they're so nice, and then you're like, "Hey, I just want it." And they're like, "No." You're
They
going to
just
pay me
assume it has
an
so much traffic that I will pay that. And I'm like, screw that. I'll just announce the new web address and not pay anything extra.
yeah, like these.
Oh,
If people were more reasonable, it wouldn't be a problem. But they love to kind of force your hand or try to.
boy, I messed up. The 10s are out of stock. When you click on it, it says out of stock. So he may just need to check with Scotty or numbers or put it back in.
Okay. Okay.
And then
Thanks, guys,
somebody
for
just,
letting us know.
yeah, some folks asking on the coffee, is there any like myco testing on it or any of those things? People,
Yeah, we
I've seen
just
that
did it. We
question.
just did a new batch. So let us once we get the new testing, we can we'll post it on the
Post it.
site. Yeah.
Let's see, what else do we have? Wait, somebody's allergic to black pepper? That would be miserable if I were allergic to black pepper. That's pretty much my favorite spice.
I know. Oh, brisket. I just put like just pepper and peppercorn like all over it.
Oh man, just I mean, for me, the perfect. If I'm making prime rib, all I need is like a rock salt and coarse ground black pepper, and that's coat the outside of the puppy and slow cook.
Do you do you ever do reverse sear where you smoke it first for 45 minutes to an hour
Yep,
and then sear it? That's kind of my preferred method.
that's how I've started doing. Like even like if I'm long smoking a turkey, because you can long smoke a turkey from frozen if you want to, and then you keep it covered and sealed, and then for the last hour or so you uncover it to sear and crisp it. It's really does take the smoke better that way, I believe, when you reverse smoke
I think so
and
too.
then sear. Yeah, we're gonna need all the men and ladies in here that are into the grill to sound off, right? Can you put mushrooms into your pet oil?
Yeah, I don't
Boy,
see there's a lot of um you know like mushrooms are there's a lot of good research for mushrooms and pets.
a lot. Some folks asking for some grain-free pet treats. I wonder how you would do a grain-free. Because some grains aren't very bad for dogs at all. It's my understanding rice is okay as long as it's all natural, not all the extra crap in it. But I don't have answers on that one. You, Matt, Lucas.
Yeah, I like maybe some spelt flour. Like, there's different types of grain that are a lot better for pets, but I mean, it's to do 100% grain free. I think the harder part, guys, is without the grain, you really run into the issues of pretty quickly molding, right? Um, and so that's where it's like a lot of the ingredients you need to kind of stabilize the product without that molding problem. So
Right.
because all the other ingredients, I mean, what are you going to use? Like, well, and it's cost too. Whereas, like, if you did a truly grain-free meat, like say you do a meat-based, super healthy option, dried or freeze dried or whatever. I mean, guys, you're talking something like that would be 5 times the cost.
Yeah, it would be crazy. Um, Wayne, oh wait, this wasn't even in for you. It's one that I was putting up for me to save till the end, and you got stuck with it because I clicked the wrong button.
No, you're
But anyways,
fine.
just saying he's been unsubscribed twice in the last month. Wayne. It's happening to a lot of people. It is the same passive aggressive shadow banning crap that they did during COVID. They're doing it again going into election year. They did it again. They did it in 2019 going into that election. They did it going into the 2016 election. They just start silencing anybody that would make people think or question where they're headed and votes and everything else. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Question being on probiotics. Will there be more probiotics? I know you're a big believer in them.
Yes, yes. So the probiotics, guys, is the biggest one is like obviously the probiotics and the vitamin. Those things is what we need for the allulose. Because we took out the sugar and we're adding like we're just using allulose, no sugar for the outside or the inside of the gummy. And so I got all the allulose on order. That was the hardest one to access. And I'm supposed to be having that allulose tail end of next week, like Wednesday, Thursday. They shipped out yesterday. So yeah, probably a week for us to get the allulose in. We'll make the gummies. Um, Again, guys, it's just kind of that process. Same thing with the K2D3. Same thing with a lot of these is we needed the allulose, and we it's just one of those things we're trying to get as fast as we can, but it's I'm at their mercy.
Yeah, Miracle Gold. Somebody asking when's Miracle Gold back in stock?
There should be Miracle Gold in stock, and if it's not, is the 2 ounce in stock?
Let me see. Let's back up here. Try the other one. Nope, they're showing both out of stock.
Gotcha. Keep your
Get
eye
some
on that,
website things
guys.
to knock through.
Well, that and we have been really running low on inventory, Mark. We did a BOGO deal earlier in the week, and that hit us pretty hard. The BOGO, but we didn't give out anything. Like there was no giveaways, something like that.
Mhm.
But that knocked us down, and a few other things that's really been hurting us. The other thing, guys, I want to let you know. So Scotty's going to be working on it today uh to get signed up for these specials, because we're not only going to do them on Fridays, but we're also going to be doing them throughout the week. And sometimes it's going to be like a 24-hour deal. And so we're going to be sending out emails. But the other thing is, we want to send out text messages. But we need you guys to be like, yes, we're not going to just send out text messaging for you guys unless you put in and say, hey, I want to be signed up for the text message deals. So I think that we're going to send out an email. So we're going to do two things on the site. We're going to have a tagline that says, hey, if you want to sign up for the text messaging deals, put in your phone number and do that. And then we're also going to send out an email to all those of you who get the email deals and have subscribed. And then we'll leave a link so you can get the text messaging. And so we're going to do both. We'll have email deals and text messaging deals and still our Friday deals. So we're gonna a lot of them are gonna be 24 hours, 48 hours, not really doing like week long deals. So it's gonna be fun, but you're gonna have to stay kind of on top of it and tuned to kind of what we're doing. Because there's gonna be some pretty good drops, whether it be silver, gold, whatever. That's gonna be
I'm
a
really
good
excited about
theme.
that one.
Well, it's 1776. So this whole theme for the next few months is going to be focused around, 1776. Maybe I can even find an old bayonet and we'll do, I don't know. We'll do something fun for it. We really will. Cause I'm a huge history buff and I love, this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It's hard
Yeah,
to
me too.
know. It's hard to know how to move forward if you don't know where we've been.
Somebody just asked if all your gummies are switching to allulose and no more sugar.
I think we will. That this is the first phase of just getting things back to normalcy a little bit. And then we'll start switching things. I think there's enough people, and we've gotten enough feedback from people that like the allulose gummies the same, if not more than the sugar gummies.
I think
And
it's a
for
great idea.
me, I think the health benefit far outweighs anything else. So
Yeah, and then
once we
they don't
get
even have to
things,
ask, is it diabetic or is it,
yeah,
they just
exactly.
get to know.
And granted, you still have a little tiny amount that's still in there because of the fruit puree, but the all natural fruit puree. But for the most part, getting rid of the sugar and throwing in the allulose, I think is going to be huge. So give me some time. The biggest one that I'm working with, guys, is the creatine gummies. I know people love them. My wife loves them. Like you guys have said, you love them, but I think they're way too sweet. and they are really sweet because of the creatine. So what I'm thinking we're going to do is that's what we've been working on, is trying to make the creatine gummies into allulose gummies. So just a project I'm currently working on, and we should be getting there shortly.
Next one I had, well, got a couple. Bless forever. What is the most CBD for severe pain? What would what's the heaviest kicking, hardest hitting?
I would definitely do probably the. I mean, you have the tens, but honestly,
I was
for
going to say I
pain,
would eat 10 milligram gummies for longer effect, but your water soluble stuff for your 14,000 is probably faster.
yeah, the water soluble is going to be faster. But I think the 14,000 is a good amount. It really comes down to the amount of THC you guys want. But the 14,000 for pain. I mean, people who have reached out and said that it has helped so much with their arthritis in their hands, just the agonizing pain that they have on a daily basis, and inflammation is really, really beneficial for that. So it really depends on kind of what route you want to take. But again, for anything like what you're talking about, you might be on medication. So you really want to get with your doctor and be like, hey, I really want to go more of a natural path. This is what I'm looking at. Um, you know, are what is the route that you're okay with? So just work with your doctor, guys, on any of these things.
Um, I'm reading some of these. I didn't know some people get into sugar beets and some of the different ones. I've had a couple of people ask if they can have a medium roast instead of a dark roast for the coffee in the future, possibly. Oh, he muted himself, guys. He maybe have something going on in the background.
Yep. Sorry, Mark. All right. What was the
That's okay.
question?
Some folks wanting a medium roast instead of a dark roast on the coffee. Just a heads up. Is that ever in your thought process to give them a different choice there?
Yes, I actually, and the thing is, guys, like I'm working on so many different things in the background to improve products, give different offerings. So I've already gotten so I have one of our family's best friends has a roastery in Colorado. So I have sent him 100 pounds of green coffee, and he roasted it in medium roast as opposed to our dark roast that we roast here in Florida. And the medium roast, Mark, was the best coffee I think I've ever had in my life that he roasted for us. So the kind of the plan is we're going to start moving a partial amount of the green to him to have him roasted, and then come back to us. It's little bit of a harder and longer process. He runs it through a little bit, and he's also the one going to be doing the instant coffee as well. So it'll be a medium roast, and then broken down into, and then you know I don't want to tell the whole thing, but yeah, we're gonna make out of the medium roast, we'll do instant coffee, an all natural instant coffee. Um, so it's coming down the pipeline, guys. Just give me a little bit more time. But I
Bear with them.
also,
Give them a week or
hey,
two for a lot of inventory
and
changes and
and
etc.
and I just ordered a bunch of ingredients for a new product capsule that I'm pretty pumped about, and I can't wait to talk about it. I can't say anything
Oh,
yet. I've already made promises, but it's coming pretty darn quick. I'd say in the next 2, 3 weeks, I should be good to go to release it, but it's going to be a cool new product.
no, I'm yeah. I don't even know the details, guys. It's not been shared with me.
I
Yeah,
don't, I haven't even told my wife.
instant coffee sweet. A lot of people are excited about that one. All right. Any more fun questions or thoughts there, Lucas?
No, I appreciate it, Mark. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday morning to do the
Yeah,
reading off for
guys,
the 20 winners.
that is like we're planning on doing that about like 5 minutes in Monday morning. So if you order this weekend and you want to find out if you won that ounce of silver, Monday morning is going to be an important one for you. And if not, your friends will just be. You may be getting a lot of messages. Hey, man, look, I just called your name.
It'll be cool. And we'll also, so yeah, once the orders go out, and we'll see what happens. So super excited to kind of read those names, and yeah, congratulations before before the winners are announced. So have fun, guys. And if you have any questions, just feel free to email us and we'll get back to you and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lucas. And I'm going to sing
Thanks,
happy
Mark.
birthday. See ya.
Have a good one.
That was Lucas from CBD Gurus, longtime sponsor and friends of the show. Just great. All right, you birthday folks. We got quite a few of you. Getting ready for the list. Lori, Big D, Wally, Bill, Van Patrick, Avery, Gordon, P Dad did it, dude. Okay, I probably shouldn't have gone there because that whole P Diddy reference, because P Dad's nothing like that at all. Happy birthday. So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love, may all your dreams come true. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. To all those celebrating, happy birthday. Enjoy it. Yeah, my poor bladder from traveling. I'll sell that one, surfer. Yeah, I've got to somehow get, although traveling here is not as tough on me when I come directly here because I have the infrastructure here. Traveling is tough when you're handicapped wheelchair sitter, when you don't have the infrastructure in place where you're headed. I need to work on that so I can see the relatives more often. Crazy Kryptonite is coming at noon in 12 minutes, and I will probably make a pop-in over to Crazy Kryptonite, maybe get a little fun time in the chat room over there. Oh, wait. I can go in through the back office. I can go in as Crazy Kryptonite in chat. Oh, now better not. All right, folks. Yes, I've been to Ponce. I do like Ponce. It's a bit of a ghost city. It is late on the recovery from Maria. All right, folks. I will see you guys Monday morning, if not before. I am hoping for big news over the weekend. See you guys.